It's probably the scariest thing I've seen in my entire life. It was 3 a.m. Angel always did this shit where he would sit down on crisscross applesauce and he would be on his phone. I would turn around and be like, okay, Angel's on his phone. But then this particular night, I seen a shadow doing that, sitting down crisscross.
Oh shit!
But I was like, what the fuck? I was about to say something like, oh, Angel, go to bed, because it's like late as fuck. But the phone wasn't on. And what was more scary, it had long hair going down, covering its face. And when I realized what I was looking at, my blood literally like started boiling. I woke up Angel like when in the morning. I was like, Angel, were you sitting down at night? He was like, no, I didn't check my phone at all. I went straight to sleep.
I think that's the only thing you can do, hide in the covers. I would scream to make sure, like, to make everyone up, and then I would just start punching and kicking to see if it's something.
My fear was, I was like, what if I yell out and this bitch goes
up to you and just covers your mouth?
Oh.
Have you ever encountered a zombie? Well, my dad did. Scary story time. So, my dad used to work this job where he used to drive doctors around. Doctors that are from like the UK, the US, sometimes when things happen and doctors want to go and help. He worked for this company that is in charge of picking them up from the airport, taking them to hospitals, etc. And he used to work overnight from 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, if you guys remember from my previous dad stories, his grandma's house is kind of like the hangout house. Not the house, like that whole block is like the hangout block. So he would get off of work, stop home, get some clothes, and go to the block, hang out, sleep, whatever, get ready for work at his grandma's house, and head to work when it's time. And this was like an everyday thing. Part of that block were a couple of guys that were cool with everybody, but also weren't really up to no good. They weren't really the kind of trustworthy guys that you can leave stuff around and think that it's still gonna be there. And they were very blunt about it. We all know those kinds of guys from our block. Now, the leader of that little gang group, he called himself Baka. If you know, you know. If you were cool with him, then you good. But if you're not really cool with him like that, he don't know you like that, he's gonna rob you. So him and my dad were really cool, to the point where like they would joke around. If my dad would leave his motorcycle somewhere, he'll tell my dad like, listen, you better be lucky I like you my friend, because I done took that motorcycle. He had a certain amount of respect for my dad. It might seem like I'm giving a lot of details, but all of that is very important. So one day, my dad gets off of work as usual. He stops home, gets some clothes, and he's driving to his grandma's house. And as he's driving, he was maybe like 15-20 minutes away from his grandma's house, and he sees Baka. Baka just kind of like, oh, hey, Prince, what's up? So my dad got out the car, dapped him up, hugged him and everything. My dad like, yo, what you doing all the way over here? And he like, man, I came here to handle some things, you feel me? In my head, my dad's thinking like, you about to rob somebody. Anyway, they chop it up, they talk for a little bit. My dad gets back in the car and he goes to my grandma's house. As he's pulling up on the block is very quiet, like the energy is off. Something happened. And as my dad is pulling up, everybody's looking at him and they seem like sad. So he gets there, he parks, and he gets out the car. And down the block, he's like way down the block, he sees like a group of people just there like talking. But the block is not like the fun block that it usually is. Something happened. So one of the guys that was part of Baka's little group comes up to my dad. Looking all sad, they dapping each other up and stuff like that. And he starts talking about, whatever. My dad really want to know what's going on. So he's like, bro, like in his head, he's like, I don't really care what you got going on, what you're telling me about right now. So my dad asks him, like, what happened? Like, what's happening? What happened? He looks at my dad with the saddest eyes and tells my dad, Baka is dead.
I live in the heart of Appalachia, and this is easily the most terrifying story of one of my experiences. Y'all, I live in Canada, and this story had me not wanting to go outside. Welcome back to Creepy Crochet and Creepy Pasta, series where I crochet something creepy and talk about something even creepier. Let's get into it. This story may be short, or it may be drawn out. I am recounting these events as I type, as it was honestly one of the most horrifying things I have experienced, and it brings me genuine stress to think about. This happened maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I live in southern West Virginia and have for my entire life. The woods and mountains surround every direction you look, and nighttime is a darkness that you can never dream of unless experienced. I was with a friend, I'll call him Mark. Mark was at my house one evening doing the usual things, watching UFC, playing Xbox, etc. It was extremely late when we finally got bored and decided to go for a walk on a nearby trail to smoke a joint. This is not a particularly long trail, but it is very dense in the woods that surround it, and it is easy to get freaked out when thinking of your surroundings. We finally get to about halfway into the trail trail about 30 minutes in, where we stop, pack our joint, and stand on the trail to chill and talk. The forest is very alive tonight. There are always noises in the woods, but the amount of animal activity for the time was unsettling. At this point, it was probably past 1 a.m. This was strange and kind of eerie, but not alerting, as any sort of predatory animal in the area may cause a disturbance. We finish smoking and continue our walk when almost immediately the forest falls dead quiet. If we know anything about Appalachia, we know that that is not a good sign. If you know anything about being in the woods, you know that's not a good sign. And as soon as the forest goes quiet, there is a voice. It almost sounds like a mocking humanoid voice, shaky and uncertain. Almost like an old children's toy, like the ones with the crackly speakers and robotic voice, if you know what I mean. This immediately set us off. We bolt directly down the opposite length of the trail, but the sound does not gain distance. It doesn't get closer per se, but no matter how far we ran down the trail, this eerie voice remains the same volume, going over and over with no quieting or stopping. At this point, I'm convinced that we are in genuine danger, something I have felt very few times. Finally, after sprinting for who knows how long, we exit the trail, gasping for breath and almost at the verge of tears of how frightening this was. We begin to exit the trail, and about 5 minutes from the exit, there's a bone-shaking, heart-stopping, murderous scream from directly behind us. We know what a mountain lion sounds like. This was not an animal. This was not someone playing or watching a movie. This scream sent birds flying from nests and made my heart drop into my stomach. It was the most genuinely depraved and violent scream that I have ever heard. This is a true story that I have only told to maybe 3 people, all of whom seem to brush it off as false. I've never been a person to push for the existence of the paranormal or spiritual, but I genuinely believe I encountered something inhuman in those woods. After running from the scream at the end of the trail, we ran to the car, which was only about 5 more minutes from the trail, so we got there relatively fast from sprinting. I just what would you even do in that situation? Also, Bigfoot, is that you? Anyways, y'all. Ta-da! The patterns for these bets are available on my Etsy. Let me know what you think of this story and what you think might have happened. Also, if you've had an experience similar to this, leave it in the comments down below. Let me know if you want more scary Appalachia stories, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye!
I haven't updated you guys since I got back from Lebanon, and you guys, I've been a crazy person. I've been going crazy in my apartment because when I went to Lebanon for 10 days, my cats Arthur and Simon stayed at my parents' house, and every single day my mom let them outside. My mom let them go from night to dark. They were just gone all day, which honestly messed them up because I brought them back to my apartment and they know too much now. They've been exposed to the outside world to the point where they're crying every single day and they're waiting at the door and they expect me to take them out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have a backyard. And I feel bad for them. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is when I brought them back to my apartment, I woke up after sleeping one night and I was scratching all in the night and I was going crazy in the middle of the night. I'm like, why am I so itchy? Why am I so itchy? I went to sleep. I woke up and I had bug bites and I'm like, maybe there was a mosquito in my room. I don't know. Next night I woke up with more bites and they were all over the place on my ankles. I'm like, what the heck is that? The third night I wake up, all bites on my legs. I counted 39 bites. I ended up doing my research. I looked at my apartment. I'm like, what's in here? What's in here? Fleas. I've been infested with fleas, okay? Then what happened was I was like, oh my God, I need to give Arthur and Simon a flea bath. I have fleas. So I took Arthur a shower with this flea shampoo. It's Vet's Best Flea and Tick Shampoo. I scrubbed Arthur first in the bathtub. I scrubbed the hell out of him. And then I dried him. And then I took him out. And then I was like, you know what? Let me research this shampoo. I don't know why. I was like, let me research it. I researched it. All the reviews said my cat died from this shampoo. Don't use this shampoo. My cat died. My cat died. So many cats died from this flea and tick shampoo. And I was like, oh my God, Arthur's going to die. That's it. Because apparently there's this essential oil in this shampoo that the cats, when they groom themselves, they can't digest it or something. And then they die. So then I took Arthur back to the bathtub and I washed him again with a different shampoo, a hypoallergenic one. And then I took him out. Then I started doing more research and ChatGPT said to get rid of the oil, you have to wash him with dish soap, Dawn dish soap. So I put him back in the bathtub and I washed him with Dawn dish soap and he was going crazy on me. He literally was going to kill me. I've never seen a cat go so crazy. Then I took him out and then I washed Simon, but I didn't wash Simon with the flea shampoo because I didn't want him to die. So I used the other shampoo on him. Okay, get it? Then I went crazy in my apartment. I took off all my sheets, all my bedding. I washed everything. I put baking soda all over my mattress because that's what ChatGPT said to do. And I put baking soda all over the carpet. And I let that sit for an hour. And then I vacuumed my whole apartment. I vacuumed the walls. Okay, I vacuumed every square inch of my apartment to the point where my vacuum broke and I have to order a new one. The new one I ordered said it was coming on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, but it's actually changed to Saturday. So I can't vacuum until Saturday, which I'm going crazy. But the pest control is coming tomorrow. And I door dashed a flea and tick spray, and I sprayed the whole apartment with the flea and tick spray to the point where like I couldn't breathe anymore. So I opened all the windows. I'm like, okay, maybe it'll air out the smell. And then I started looking at my windows, and I started looking at the screens on my windows, and I'm like, what are those? And it looked like there was like eggs in my screen. I don't know what they were, but I closed my windows immediately. I'm like, no, that maybe they're gonna come in from the window. So I closed my windows. Then in the daytime, it said online to like put bowls of water with dish soap and Alka-Seltzer, and then the fleas like attract to that, and then they go to those bowls. So I put bowls all over my apartment. Like I put like 8 bowls all over the floor. It didn't work. That was a scam. I got scammed online. That didn't do anything. Not even one little thing was in those bowls. Then I ordered these flea traps. So tonight I'm gonna trap the fleas. I got 2 flea traps. I'm gonna put one in my room and one in the living room. And last night I wore really long like socks to go to bed, and I hate wearing socks to sleep. I hate it. It's like my worst thing. And then I wore long pajama pants, which I hate wearing pants at all to go to sleep. I literally only sleep with no pants. Then I tucked in my pajama pants in the socks so I wouldn't get bites, okay? I'm like, they're not gonna get my legs. They're not gonna get my ankles. And guess what? I have bites all over my arms. I don't know how to go to sleep. I'm not gonna go to sleep tonight. Like, yeah, I've just been going through it. Help. How do you get rid of fleas? I feel like it's impossible. Like online, it literally said that they make nests and eggs, and then they don't even need a host. Like they'll hatch later. Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
Short story time on how my sleep paralysis demon is in love with me. Anytime I tell this story to somebody, people say it freaks them out. I'm chilling. Like, I've had sleep paralysis for a very long time, and I've been learning how to cope with it. But my most recent experience was very new, and it has never happened like this before. And yeah, let me explain. I know this is not like my usual content, but like, it's something to share because it was weird as fuck. So basically, I'm sleeping, and then my sleep paralysis is happening, and I'm sleeping on my side, so I'm not looking up. I don't see anything. I'm sleeping on my side, and out of nowhere, I feel like something's kissing my neck. Like I feel the moisture, like something's kissing my neck, and then it's kissing my face. And before it gets to my lips, I was like, and it goes, and when it said, I felt the breath on my face, right? And I said, And then after that, it stopped. And of course, like, I'm freaking out. I'm trying to wake myself up. And obviously, I can't do anything. I'm having sleep paralysis. I cannot move. Long story short, I wake up crying because I literally thought somebody was in my bed. Me. That's how real it felt. And I was, like, freaking out. I was like, was somebody in my room? Who did it? Like, I don't know. So I think he's in love with me, y'all. At least somebody likes me. At least somebody wants me back.
Can we show him the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin Zachary decided to go camping in the woods, and we're pretty sure we saw a skinwalker or some type of devilish creature. Scary story time. Now, this is an original story by me because I'm pretty sure we did see a skinwalker. Now, Zachary's house, there's woods right by his house. And me and Zachary was like, you know what? We're 13. We were like, let's go camping because we're bored as hell. And we had a tent. So we set up the tent in the woods, deep in the woods, like a mile away from his house, inside these fucking woods, bro. Like, it was kind of scary. And as we're setting up this tent, we're hearing a girl crying. And she's like, someone please come find me. I'm scared. I'm alone. I'm hungry. Shit like that. And Zachary's such a good, kind soul. He was like, we have to go help this girl. And I was like, that girl can go fuck herself because I am not helping that because I'm too scared. But I didn't want to leave Zachary alone, so I decided to go with him to go help this little girl. And we're looking, and we can't find this little girl. And the closer we're getting to the sound, the sound of the little girl was more rugged, more like a grunting noise. I'm like, Zachary, there's something not right. Like, there's something just not right about this. And Zachary was like, Preston, shut the fuck up, and let's keep finding this girl. And I was like, Okay, minutes go by and there's no sight of this little girl. I mean, we don't know where the fuck she's at. But we do hear some animal eating. And when we get closer to the eating noise of this animal, we see a tall, lengthy creature eating a deer. And me and Zachary just slowly walked away. We don't know what it was, and Zachary still won't talk about it. And we did hear a loud screech, like a crazy screech. That's about it. Damn.
It was about this dude named James Huberty. He started telling his wife randomly, right? And he was a normal guy. He started telling his wife randomly. He was like, babe, I think I'm developing mental issues. And she was like, babe, you're tripping. Like, no, there's no way. He was like, I don't know. Like, I really think that there's something. I don't know. I just think I'm developing something. I don't know. It was almost like he was calling it early, right? Which is weird. He ends up even going to like a mental facility. These people, when he talked to them, they were like, bro, you're too well-spoken. You're too like, he seemed too much of a good guy.
Yeah, you're not crazy. You're normal.
They were like, nah, bro, it's all good. Like, you don't need this. And he talked to like a bunch of other places that all basically turned him away. Like, nah, man, you're good. And then one day, I think like 2 weeks after this, he tells his wife, honey, I'm gonna miss you. And he kisses her. He leaves the house, he gets in his car. Oh, and he took his gun too. He had I forgot what kind of gun it was, but goes to a McDonald's that was by their house, and he killed 20 people at the McDonald's.
What the
Yeah. And then he ends up going to...
I think I heard about this before.
Yes, bro. Crazy as bro. Yeah. And then
out of McDonald's, bro.
Killed 20 people.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So is that not interesting that he kind of warned everybody?
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody believed him.
Yeah, no one believed him.
You know, they were just like, bro, come on, because we're focused on the now.
Yeah.
And seeing how he talks and all these other things. But it's like, if he tells you he's something, bro, believe him.
Yeah.
First of all, this is not scary. Don't think you're going to get scared. But it is something to, think about. In front of the camera. Okay. This happened... I don't know if y'all remember when they were breaking ground for the Toyota plant on Applewhite Road. They were busing people from the flea market to Applewhite Road to the Toyota plant. And I had gone to H-E-B, and I had Yvette, Ethan, and Isaiah. On the way over there, I saw those cars at the flea market. And on the way back, after I had gotten the groceries, I told Yvette, you know what, Yvette? I'm going to go down Applewhite to see all the commotion. Maybe, we can see something. But, of course, we couldn't see anything because I have that big pile of dirt in front. So I kept on driving, and as soon as you pass the bridge where the river is, there's a side street and it's Jet Road. And I just kept going until it hit 1604. I just kept going down on Jet Road. Jet Road, passing 1604, is a very windy road. And people tend to throw trash. They throw carpets, metal, they just throw a whole bunch of stuff. As I was getting almost to the last final turn, I see 3 big piles, and I'm complaining there, damn, these people, why don't they just, burn it or pay for trash cans? And to me, it was a white trash bag, a carpet, and some other bag that they had thrown. To me, that's what it looked like from where I was coming from. And then when I got there to the first thing, it was the head of the cow. It was completely like sawn off, no blood, and it was just, the head of the cow. And I saw it, and then I said, oh my God. And then I got to the next pile. The next pile was the height of the cow.
That's what you thought was the carpet?
Yeah, I thought that was the carpet, but it was the skin of the cow. And the white bag wasn't a white bag. I don't know if you have ever skinned an animal that when you remove the furry part, there's like a light like a light skin. Well, that was the body of the cow. No blood, no nothing, just that. The head, the skin, and the body of the cow. No blood, nothing. But once I got over all of that, there was a black car there with dark tinted windows. So I said, hey, this is some alien thing here. I didn't quite say it that way, but I did say it. So right away, I got home and I told my husband, I told my son. Nobody wanted to go back to see it with me. Man, if it would have been my daughter or my son that came and told me that and you want to go see it, I would have gone right away. Nobody went. So, to me, that was something alien.
Grandma, that is scary. What do you mean they're not going to get scared by that? That's one of the scariest ones.
A lot of things happen on Jet Road, too. Not only to me, but to my son. When I was talking to Daddy this morning, that I was telling him I was going to tell him about the cow. And I said, do you remember what happened to you and the kids? And she says, oh, Mom, I don't remember. Leo, yeah, you remember. You even said,
have you ever poured one for the homie? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically when you're drinking and you remember somebody who has passed, so you pour a little bit of the beer out for the homie. I sound so stupid, but this story will make you stop doing that. Because maybe you can conjure an unknown homie. I need to stop saying homie. What the fuck? This happened to a group of friends 25 years ago when they were in their late teens, early 20s. So this girl says that some of her girlfriends and some guys were gonna go camping because one of the guys' family owned a cabin. This cabin was out in the middle of nowhere, definitely not close to anybody nor the city. So the guy that owned the cabin was a little sad because just a few weeks back he had lost an uncle who he was very close to. So because of this, when they all started drinking, he started dedicating bottles of beer to his uncle, and instead of pouring it out, he was leaving them on the ground next to him. She says that he kept doing this over and over, so there were 4 or 5 full bottles next to him that he had dedicated to his uncle. So eventually they all decided to go to bed. She says that all the girls decided to get on the bunk beds that were there and all the guys were gonna sleep on the floor. When everybody ended up falling asleep, all of a sudden this really big black bird came in through the window and started making crazy sounds. It woke everybody up and the girls started screaming, which made the guys get up and ask what is going on. At that point, everybody knew what was going on. They were all together and all together decided that they're gonna try to get that bird out of the window. So as they're all trying to get that bird outside, they start hearing weird sounds coming from the living room and the kitchen area. It sounded like somebody was in the kitchen breaking everything and even scratching the walls. Obviously, they were all scared because not only were they dealing with this bird trying to get it out the window, but they're starting to realize that there is somebody in the kitchen. So the guy who owns the cabin starts screaming at whatever it was that he needed to get out of there. They don't know what they're doing inside their cabin, but they needed to leave. So the bird finally went out the window. After he screams at whoever it is in the kitchen, everything just goes silent. They all agreed not to go into the kitchen or living room and just wait until daytime to go and investigate. So when daylight came, they all woke up, started walking towards the kitchen because they thought, okay, well, it's time to clean up the mess that the person had made in the kitchen. However, when they all made it to the living room and kitchen area, they were all pretty surprised to find that there was nothing broken or out of place. Now, the weirdest part was that when they saw the bottles that their friend had left for the uncle, they were all empty and the beer was not thrown anywhere, if somebody had just poured them out. They were just empty and the beer was missing. They were all terrified and just opted to leave that day instead of staying there the entire weekend. Now, time has passed and she mentions how this memory of what happened just started fading away from their memories. Until one day where her boyfriend back then, now husband, asked her if she remembered what happened that day in the cabin. When he mentioned it, she says that out of nowhere, all the memories came back to her of what happened that day in the cabin. She says that she called up her friend that was there that night too, and the same thing happened. She had forgotten about it, and out of nowhere, all the memories just came back to her. It was almost as if she wouldn't have remembered it unless she had reminded her of that night. She still says that she has no idea what happened that day in that cabin and why everybody seems to have forgotten that memory altogether. The only thing she does know is that because of what happened there, it's made them not ever want to go to isolated places again or pour one out for the homie. Anyway, what do you guys think?
What the fuck was that? Bro.
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Hey guys, so it's looking like this ban thing might really go into effect, and maybe I'm just in denial, but I really think it's not. But damn, I do have a story time for y'all. So I need you to go get your snack, but I really need you to like go follow me on TikTok. I really need you to go follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel like tonight. Tell your friend to tell your friend to tell your friend to tell your friend. Let everybody know. I hope this hits the For You page for people that are following me but haven't really been seeing my videos. So make sure you repost this because I don't want to lose you guys. So from now until the 19th, I should at least have 100K on Instagram because there's no way I have 1.4 million followers. Well, there is a way because I didn't really promote my Instagram, but now I am. Regardless of anything, though, I am going to move over to YouTube and we're going to continue the story times. I am going to drop a new episode of the podcast within the next 2 weeks. I know I haven't really been posting story times lately. It's because I really want to see where this is going to go. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm going to give y'all quick story times, of course. I'm about to post one after this post. But the good stories, I'm going to save to do on the podcast so that you guys get an hour-long podcast again. So yeah. Also, the giveaway is tomorrow. I'm announcing the winner of the $100 giveaway tomorrow. So yeah, that's exciting. Tonight is the last night for you to enter. And then sometime this weekend, I'm not sure when because I have a lot to do, but sometime this weekend we're going to do the business thing. I had so much plans. I was dedicating this year to helping you guys, which I still am. But we're just going to have to do everything on YouTube now if they really do ban this. So make sure you're reposting this. You're sending this to your friends that you know follow me. I don't know how to reach every one of y'all, but I wish I could, so y'all could go over to YouTube. But story time next. I don't know what time it is where you are, but if you can't sleep like me or you're just scrolling on TikTok, I'm gonna give you a quick story time, so go get your snack. Yeah, I don't care if it's late, go get a snack, except if you're, celebrating Ramadan. No snack for you. Anyway, I was going through my DMs to look for, story submissions, and this story was pretty short, so I wasn't gonna post it, but now that I'm up and can't sleep, might as well. And it's of course about not sleeping with your mirror facing you. If y'all been following me for a very long time, I always say do not ever sleep with your mirror facing you. So this girl, she remembers something that happened to her when she was really young. She was sleeping one night, right? And of course she woke up at 3 a.m. The only thing is, when she woke up, it was something that woke her up. And the thing is that she heard somebody calling her name. So at first she thought it was one of her family members. So she woke up trying to listen to her name again. And she heard it again. Except when she heard it, it was coming from inside her room, from inside her mirror, facing her. So she quickly turned to the mirror and, obviously her reflection is there. So she's like, what the hell? Is it the mirror? Is it the wall behind the mirror? But there's no room. That the wall that was, the mirror was on, there's no room behind it. It's just outside. So it's somebody outside. So she got up to check if someone's outside. Nobody's outside. So she's like, oh, okay. I think I'm just going crazy. Now, before I go on with the story, did you get my ebook so you can protect yourself from things like this happening? No? What are you doing? Everybody else get it, and they're raving about it. No, but seriously, you should really click the link in my bio, get my ebook, and learn how to protect yourself from these things, okay? Better safe than sorry. So as she's by the window, walking back to her bed, she hears her name again, and she's positive it was coming from the mirror. And she could have sworn she just saw her reflection move weird, and she wasn't playing with that. She immediately ran to her grandma's room and told grandma what was happening. So immediately her grandma got up, went to her room, found some sheets, and covered the mirror. Grandma says to her, I keep telling your mom not to leave you sleeping with the mirror facing you, but she don't want to listen. And as a child, she didn't really understand what that meant, but she was just after that experience, because that was so scary for her, she was like, well, if I'm not supposed to sleep with my mirrors facing me, then I won't do it anymore. And grandma asked her, do you want to sleep in your room now, or you want to come sleep with me? And she of course said, I'm sleeping with you, grandma. And the next day, grandma made sure she got rid of that mirror, and it actually never happened again.